much for clicking on the video. This is my recap and review for Real Housewives of Miami. This is season 4, episode 5. Church announcement. Spring semester has started and they already trying me on this good Thursday today, y'all. They doing too much and it's the first day of school. So y'all bear with me. I'm going to try my best to be consistent with putting out videos because I do have a goal that I want to reach when it comes to subscribers by the end of spring semester. But yeah, y'all, not much really happened on this episode other than, you know, New York Todd versus Beach Bum Peter, but we gonna get into it. So let's get to it. The episode opens up with Gertie being on a date with her husband Russell, and like she stated, they are definitely opposites. Russell is more reserved and like kind of low-key boring, but he seems like a sweet, level-headed man, which Gertie needs, and then Gertie is just a lot. I will say, y'all, Gertie get on my nerves. I tried. That's not to say I don't like her on the show. She just gets on my nerves. She does a lot. Like the confessionals be a lot. Is she a lot in person? But we end up getting more about her backstory. She talks about the earthquake in Haiti. Unfortunately, I remember the date so much because it's my birthday, January the 12th. And I actually remember being at a restaurant when it happened and like seeing it on the TV screen. Like I was eating eating with my family and then we saw it on the TV screen. So like it was depressing. I felt so bad for them people. I still feel bad because we know that Haiti's infrastructure hasn't regained any, like it was already bad before the earthquake hit and it's still bad now because their government is trash. Worse than ours, because ours is trash too. And like a lot of the resources that was promised to Haiti, they've never got. So they still haven't been able to build their community and their country the way that they should be able to. And it's like almost, I think, like 11 years later, because I think it happened in 2010. I'm not totally sure. Y'all can let me know in the comments. But yeah, it's sad because that's like I said, it happened on my birthday. So like I remember it vividly. Like I remember that birthday and feeling sad because of what happened, because you could see all the devastation. Like I feel like a lot of stuff happened. Like I don't even think. I'm thinking, did the tsunami that hit Japan, did that happen in the same year? I feel like it didn't, but that's something I remember that. Like, I remember where I was when 9/11 happened. I was in elementary school when 9/11 happened. Didn't even know what was going on. I remember, like when the Sandy Hook shooting happened. Like, those types of events, I remember so much. Like, I remember what I was doing that day because it was something that was so devastating and heart-wrenching. But unfortunately, Gertie lost her brother and her 2 nieces because of the earthquake. And it seems like this brother was like her champion. Like, he was always encouraging her to be herself and to go for her dreams. And when those type of people die in your life, you normally, like, 2 things happen. One, you even exude more because you're doing it in remembrance of them, just to be like honoring them. They're like, this person told me to be myself, so I am definitely going to be myself because they're no longer here. Or you go inside and you kind of become a shell of the person you are. Gertie chose the other option. So good for her. I mean, I still find the lady annoying, but I'm happy that she's gonna be who she is. And y'all know I always tell you, be bravely authentic, even if that means you're annoying. Be yourself. Live your life the way you want to live it. But I like that Russell told her, girl, whatever, like, be yourself. I like that he's level-headed. Then we see Marisol, her husband, Alexia, and Todd. I was annoyed because Alexia was 45 minutes late, like, and they didn't have no food on the table. Like, I would have ordered food. Like, we would have ate. Like, we probably would have got a couple of appetizers, but by the time it hits his 30 minutes, I'm not drinking, I'm eating, okay? Don't do that with me. Don't play with my time. Then They talked about Alexia and Todd having like a co-ed bachelor's party. Most people are doing those nowadays. Like, I don't think it's as taboo like it was back in the day where people were like, no, you got to be separate. Because I've seen so many people, especially in my generation, who go on bachelorette and bachelor like trips where like they invite everybody. They are going like out the country to have like a good time. And I don't think, like, if you want to have a co-ed one, have a co-ed one. But have it so you both can have fun. Don't be having a co-ed ones so you can, like, watch what your partner is doing. Because if you got to watch them, what's the point of you marrying them if you can't trust them at no party? Where there's going to be strippers and, like, booty shaking. Like, you should have enough, like, trust in that person that they're not going to do you dirty. And then Alexia is still worried about, like, she talks about how she thinks she's dragging her feet because of the fight with Todd and Peter because they still haven't came to a resolution. So then we see Kiki and her daughter Summer, who's like she's only 2 years old. Y'all, Kiki is so beautiful to me. Like, that is a gorgeous woman. The way people be fangirling over like Kenya and Portia, Kiki is just gorgeous to me. And to find out that she has a 2-year-old daughter, and I'm like, her body don't give that. It just gives beautiful. She is so beautiful to me. I don't even know what Kiki does in like her like professionally. Like if she's not a model, that's a problem. Like, that lady is gorgeous. And then they showed her Instagram photos, and that one photo where she's like stretching with them, I said, if that was on Tyra's Next Top Model or a top model, she would win, because that was a beautiful picture. That lady is just gorgeous to me. And her little daughter, the little girl's name is Summer, is cute she's adorable too. But it's Larsa, Kiki, and then we see Sophia, because I guess Sophia, which is Larsa's daughter, is gonna like try to corral the 2-year-old. But Larsa is supposed to be teaching Kiki and Adriana OnlyFans 101. So Larsa has a few rules. Like, she sets her own price. She was like, the sexier, the more you got to pay, which I'm with you, Larsa, get your coin. And then she was like, also, you need like a good caption. I don't know. I feel like for men, it's the caption. I feel like for women, I don't know. I mean, I don't be buying this stuff, so I don't know what y'all be into like that. But I kind of feel like if it's a picture, it's a picture. You know, like, let it be different pictures, but like, does the caption really matter to y'all if y'all gonna buy feet pics? Like, maybe they do, you know, maybe you got to show them what you're worth, you know, you got to let them know, like, you got to be creative. But it was cute. They had like a moment. Everybody, like, Larsa kept shading Adriana about like she should only charge $5 for her feet. But I'm like, if Adriana get her feet done, it's okay. And I don't even think Adriana has like old feet, but then again, I don't know what her feet look like. But Adriana does post like a mom, but Adriana is like the oldest person on the cast. I think Adriana, like, I remember telling y'all, I think she's like 56. Like, she is a mom, and she didn't grow up with online stuff like that. So maybe she doesn't know what type of sexy pictures to really post. Unless she got like an IG like manager to help her out, maybe, but I don't know. But yeah, then we see Nicole and her mom. Side note, y'all, I'm kind of over Nicole and her daddy issues. And like I said on Twitter, that's not to say that her daddy issues or her gripes with her father is not valid. It's just like we're at 5 episodes in. And every episode you have talked badly about your father. And I'm like, if we're not going to get like a resolution, or if she's not going to come to terms or like go to therapy, then I need you to hush. And I know that sounds mean, but basically she's sitting down with her mom. We're going to find out that her mom is going to be taking on the role of like picking up and dropping off the baby. I think his name is Grayson, because the job that she's moving, or maybe like her company, is moving closer to the town, which is nice. You know, I love my grandparents, so like it'd be cool to see them all the time. We end up finding out that like basically when the daddy got out of jail, he said he was gonna live his best life. He in his 60s. He's dating like 25-year-olds. He's been out of jail for almost like 15 years. That's what Nicole says. And like she said it herself, she's resentful. And I feel like at this point, Nicole, you in your 30s, you need to take your ass to therapy. Like, I'm with the mom. Like, maybe it's easier for her to get over it because the mom has a relationship with the father. It's not the same as like what it used to be, but she doesn't. Nicole even said her mom doesn't believe in holding on to things because they weigh you down. And I'm with the mom. Either you're going to have the man in your life or you're not going to have him in your life, because it doesn't make sense to me that you're inviting him to Thanksgiving and Christmas, but you don't want to talk to him. So it's like, do you really want him in your life? Because if he cuts you off and be like, I don't want to be a part of your life because all you do is invite me to Christmas and Thanksgiving, then you can't be mad at him because you're not making an effort. Because it seems, I guess in my mind, y'all, I'm thinking like, if I'm still going to invite you to like family events, that is me. I'm going to have to put effort into getting to know you, because I'm not going to be feeling awkward in my home. That's just like, I'm not going to be feeling awkward in my home. So I feel like you don't want to give. You just want to be mad at him. And honestly, you need to look at your mom and like, as she needs to take ownership too, because it doesn't make sense that you're so angry at your dad for money laundering when your mom was the one who decided to solely depend on your father. You were able to have the life that you had beforehand because he was doing all that shady stuff. And then once the government found out and took it away, all of a sudden you just mad at him. You can't tell me the mom didn't know. It probably didn't think anything was going to happen, and then something happened. So I don't know. I just feel like if you're going to be cool with your mama, then maybe you should try to work it out with your father. If you don't really want to work it out with him, then stop inviting him to stuff. Just cut him out your life altogether. That's just me. That's just what then we see Adriana and Jacob with his cute self. The man I thought they had on a fake lock wig. And they're looking at classic cars. Adriana's there to buy a car. They look at one car that was $69,000. And then she ends up going with a car that's $20,000. And it's the car that her dad used to drive in Brazil. Julia arrives. And Julia does not like Jacob. Mainly for the simple fact that Adriana is canoodling with Jacob. Because it makes no sense. Like, you can tell she don't like him. Because Jacob had on like a suit top, but he didn't have no shirt. Like, he didn't have a shirt under it. So then she gonna poke him in the chest like this. And she's like, not cold? And he was like, no, I'm feeling good. And I said, girl, first of all, don't be touching that man because you don't like him. Second of all, y'all living in Miami. Y'all know it's probably like 98 or 89 degrees right now. You know it's not hot. You got on short sleeves and Adriana got her titties out. And I was like, girl, you mad. And then Adriana, trying to be coy and cheeky, was over here talking about we could have a threesome. And she was like, Julia has opened me up for exploration because these men ain't nothing. And my thing is, like, if you want to be, you know, if you, like, I feel like at this point, Adriana can explore whatever she wants to explore as long as it's not with Julia, because Julia is a married woman. That's just what I'm with. Like, if you want to figure out if you like women or anybody in you know, who's like, you know, non-binary, trans or whatever, you can do that because you're not married. You can't do that with Julia, and y'all be giving the vibes that y'all be doing things together, and it's inappropriate, okay? Because it's a married woman. They end up talking about Adriana, the whole fight between Adriana versus Gertie. And Julia basically said that Adriana, Gertie left and she seemed really upset. And I'm sorry, y'all. I kind of agree with Adriana in the sense of, like, Gertie snitched. And then when Adriana was trying to explain herself, Gertie kept over talking her. Now, do I think the way Adriana went about it was right? No, she was being a bitch. She really was. Because when the lady brought up about her family, Adriana didn't need to interject about her losing people as well to, like, you know, the virus and stuff like that. Gertie was trying to have a moment with the ladies and you trampled on it. Now, Adriana over here talking about she can forgive and forget. And my thing is, like, I don't think you're going to get an apology out of Gertie. And I don't think Adriana's going to give Gertie an apology. So the best thing, in my opinion, is to move on. But Adriana was doing a lot. Even though I do agree with, like, her being like, Gertie was talking over me. And she was. And that's my only thing about Gertie. Like, you stirred the pot. And then when you got caught, you cried about it. And it was like, well, if you're going to stir the pot, you need to stir the pot. And when you get caught, stand in it. That's my only thing. But like I said, she buys a car. Then we see Todd and Alexia. They're talking about rings. She ends up getting a ring that's $30,000 to add to like her wedding band. And then she also talks about her mom. Her mom being a little older and not being as well as she wants her to be for her wedding. But my thing is like, Alexia, you're 54. Your mom is probably like in her 80s. Yeah, probably in her 80s, maybe. I feel like 60s. No, your mom's probably in her 80s or 70s. Like, the older you get, things do start to break down. So I feel like you can't be mad at your mom for getting old. Like, she was like, she's very frail and she's not as mobile as I want her to be. And I'm like, yeah, it sucks because that's your parent and you don't want to see them struggle. But like, she here, so value the time you have with her here. Peter also lets us know that he called Todd lets us know that he called Peter, and they're gonna have a family meeting at the end that we got to saw. It was a mess. We see Larsa and Lisa kicking it, and it was an okay conversation. Larsa says that starts about to cry because she said the reason why their marriage really went down here was because Scotty was moody and she was tired of being left alone with the kids. Now, here's my thing, y'all. Here's my thing. Some people might not agree with what I got to say, but that's okay. I'm kind of tired of women getting with men and not understanding, like, people. Well, I won't say women getting with men. People getting with each other and not understanding the roles in which they play in the relationship. You cannot tell me that Larsa did not sign up to be an NBA player's wife, and she knew the terms and conditions of that relationship. Larsa knew she was gonna be cooking and cleaning and popping out kids for that man, and she was okay with it. It came a point in time where she got to the point where she was just like, you know what, I don't want to do that anymore, and that's her right. But don't be sitting here trying to paint this picture like you was just by yourself when all season 1 of Real Housewives of Miami, you always wanted to be around Scotty. You were always happy to be with Scotty. You were always happy to take his money and but you bought your little brother a car, like with Scotty's money. So you were glad to take the perks of being an NBA player's wife, but now all of a sudden he's moody and I was by myself. But like, that's what you signed up for. That's my only thing. Like, is it right? No, because if you choose to have kids with somebody, like, they should be there with you. Like, y'all should always, like, it's a partnership. When you marry someone, it should be a partnership. But I guess my thing is, you knew what you was getting into when you got married. So I don't have that much sympathy for her. Now, should Scotty be mean to her? Because she was like, he was really moody. But I'm like, Larsa, I don't know. I don't know with Miss Larsa. I don't. I still feel like Larsa's a bitch. And the reason why I say that is because they've been playing clips of, like, y'all know Tristan done cheated on Chloe and had another baby. And they're showing, like, all the videos. Like, people have, dug up clips of the last time of Keeping Up with the Kardashians and how you had Kamora Lee Simmons, them two ditzy black twins up there. And then, well, no, one of them, the one that get on everybody's nerves. And then you had Chris, but all of them talking, like, bullying Jordan Woods. And Larsa was one of them. So I was like, I'm not buying what y'all trying to sell with Larsa. I'm not. I somewhat like Larsa. I will say that this show paints her in a better light. Because when you just see somebody who's always in the blocks for being a whore and being a bully, that is the perception that you have of them. And we not about to act like we didn't see Larsa cheat on Scotty, knowing that Scotty probably cheated on her too. But we saw Larsa cheat on Scotty with Future and with that other man, with the other lady husband. You have this perception of somebody. So doing Real Housewives of Miami's, I do think was a good idea for her because we do get to see the different sides of Larsa. And Larsa seems to be a decent human being, like a decent person. She just got her ish with her. And I don't know, y'all. I do, like, it is sad that, like, she's upset. Like, I think the only part about the whole conversation with Larsa was, like, she was like, I'm disappointed that my relationship didn't work out, which is normal. But she was just like, I'm sad that my kids won't have two parents. And I'm like, they do have two parents. Scotty's in LA, you in Miami. Like, it seems that y'all co-parent really well. Y'all don't have to live together to be a family. As long as Scotty respects you and you respect Scotty, then your kids are seeing a healthy representation of their parents being good co-parents. So we also find out that Lenny don't really respect Lisa. I don't know why Lisa with Lenny, but Lenny don't respect, well, I do know because Lenny got money and that house is beautiful. But Lenny doesn't really respect Lisa, but Lisa does. Like, Lisa wants to start doing things for her own because Lenny was like, all you do is you're just a stay-at-home mom. And my thing with that is, like, Lisa, if you got nannies, you're not really doing a lot. And I think that's what Lenny is talking about. Like, ma'am, you're not doing a lot, but I am happy that she wants her own because I think everybody should have their own. Then we see Nicole and Anthony go on a dinner date. They shading the ish out of Adriana because I guess they haven't received the art piece that Martina, that they bought from Martina. They were talking about how, like, if she's ran all these other art galleries and all these other art events, why we ain't got our piece yet? Why couldn't you get your alcohol? Then we end up talking about the whole daddy situation. And, you know, she says she goes in waves. Like, sometimes Nicole wants a relationship with her father. Then she thinks about all the bad things that happened, and then she doesn't want a relationship with him. We also find out that Anthony is a product of divorce. And she was like, I didn't have my dad in my house like that, but that's why I want to have a good relationship with Grayson. Nicole lets us know that, you know, she had a wonderful relationship with her grandfather, so she's hoping that's what her son can have with her father. She feels like her dad was selfish. I also found it weird that, like, Anthony really didn't console Nicole, and you could tell Nicole was visibly trying to fight back tears. Like, you could tell she had that frog in her throat when you're about to cry. And Anthony really didn't, like, rub her hand or tell her it was okay. I don't see the love between them in all reality. No, do they have to be together? No. I don't think they have to get married or anything. But to me, I don't really see it with them. I don't. I really feel like they're just a power, like a couple for show, like trying to give the persona of a power couple. Because at the end of the day, Nicole is an anesthesiologist, so she fired already. And then you got Anthony, who seems to be like this really big shot attorney. So that is a power couple. You got an attorney and a doctor. But, like, I kind of felt bad that he didn't, like, I don't know. He just didn't seem like he was trying to, like, make the girl feel better. And you could see, like, she kept drinking her wine to try not to cry. You know? I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But let's get to this fight between Todd versus Peter, because it was a mess. So this conversation between Todd and Peter. So it starts off pretty okay. Like, everybody was over at the nice apartment because their apartment is beautiful. And they're talking about the wedding. They wanted to be formal. They're going to have Lisa's son be the ring bearer, and they're going to have it on the 12th instead of the 11th of that month that they're picking, because the 11th will be Peter's birthday. So all of a sudden, Frankie and Alexia leave, like, the den area that they were sitting at to go to the kitchen. And they're, like, ear hustling while Peter and Todd are having a conversation. So it went left real quick. So Todd's whole thing is, like, you do things with your brother, aka Frankie, and then when Frankie comes back to us, I'm here to pick up the pieces. It seems like the whole thing about Frankie passing out was really worse than what Alexia let it on to be, because Frankie was passed out on the ground and it was like 3 paramedics, like, trying to bring him back. And it also seems that when Frankie goes out with Peter, he comes back with, like, bruises. Todd even said while they were arguing that there were several times where Frankie was out in the middle of the street, out at the, like, you know, out the throwing up, or he came back throwing up. He's come back home with bruises. And he basically tells, Todd tells Peter, Frankie is not a normal or a regular, I'll say regular, I won't say normal. Frankie is not a regular 24-year-old in the sense of, like, he is not you. Like, he does not have all his faculties there. And if you didn't know, Frankie got into a car accident when he was a little kid, I think around the age of, like, 12 or 13. Unfortunately, his brain swelled and he was in a coma for 3 months. And that doesn't, like, when your brain swells, I don't think people understand that when your brain swells, all the things that are in your brain, also like like your neurons and all those things, synaptings and things like that, those are broken and they can't be rebuilt. So certain things that you are used to doing, you can't do anymore because that signal is gone. Like, it's no longer there anymore. And Todd was basically like, bro, your brother, why can't you just do regular stuff with your brother? Why do you have to go out drinking and partying and smoking with your brother when you know he's not a regular 24-year-old? Like, why can't you just take him to go play basketball? Or, like, I think Todd's whole thing is like, there's other things you can do with your brother, which there is. Y'all are in Miami. I said Miami. In Miami. Like, you could take him to go to, like, go-kart riding. He probably loved that. To the arcade. Take him to play basketball. Like, there's so many other things. Like, they could go to the beach. They could kick it. Or y'all could play video games together or watch a movie or stuff like that. But you don't have to, like, smoke with him or take him to the bar with you at night. Like, that's not the environment that is healthy for Frankie at the age in which he's at. And then basically Todd basically said, I said what I said and I ain't taking it back, because Peter brings up all the nasty things that he said to him. And like, he was like, you basically told me all of my insecurities about me and being like my dad, going to jail. And Todd was like, yeah, I said it. He said, Todd was in his knee of, I said what I said. I said what I said. Because Todd said, I said it and I ain't taking it back. And your actions justify why I said what I said. And I said, okay, Todd. Okay, I'm riding with you. But ease up on the gas, bro. So, all of a sudden, Peter starts crying. And I can't tell if Peter was crying because he felt guilty for the way in which he has been treating Frankie, or if it was the fact that somebody was holding him accountable. Because out of nowhere, y'all, because Alexia and Frankie were listening to the conversation. They were just in the kitchen, ear hustling and watching them have the conversation. Alexia comes out of nowhere holding Peter, talking about, it's hard, it's okay, we know it's hard, we got to deal with it. Because basically, after Todd said Frankie's not a normal or a regular 24-year-old, Peter's like, I know, and it sucks. And Peter's whole thing is like, well, I washed his butt. Like, I've bathed him, I've clothed him, I've shaved under his arms. Have you ever done that? And I'm like, you don't get a chip on your shoulder for doing things that you were supposed to do for your family when they're in a place of need. Like, I'm not like, don't get me wrong. It has to suck to know that your little brother, who you once had like such a different relationship with when he was, was in a healthier place, that didn't have the accident, versus him now who's healthy and he's disabled, and that's something hard for you to deal with. But like Todd said, y'all been dealing with this for the past 10 years. This should be different, and it really should. It really should. Like, the accident happened when Frankie was like 13 or 14. He's now 24. Like, and I think the thing about it, because Alexia started to get offended, was that Todd was calling Alexia out too, where it's like, all Frankie do is wake up in the morning, he eats, and he plays video games. And whenever I try to say something or try to do more, I get labeled the bad guy. Because honestly, as much money as they have, Frankie would probably be in a better state mentally if he had like counseling. And when I say counseling, I mean like someone to help him with like speech therapy, or like giving him cognitive therapy to help him work your brain, because your brain is like a muscle, working that muscle. Y'all didn't let him work that muscle for the past 10 or 11 years. Like Todd said, all he does is wakes up in the morning and he eats, and then he's on his phone or he's playing video games all day. That's your fault, Alexia. And then Alexia was taking offense, but it was like, it's true. So then Alexia was like, well, why don't you take why don't you take Frankie with you? And Todd was like, I did. I took one of your sons last time, and you see what happened? I said, Todd, stop with the violence. Because then he hit the part that really took me up, and I had to do my Jasmine Masters. Ooh, when he said it's easier to give your brother a basketball than a joint. And I said, damn, Todd. Todd was being defensive because he said, y'all trying to tag team me. But Todd said, not in my house. I run this. So then Todd basically was like, I'm not trying to call you like the bad guy, but the truth of the matter is that Frankie needs, like, y'all need to do more for Frankie, and you and Peter need to go to therapy, which they do. Like, it's been 10 or 11 years, and if you haven't been able to accept what happened to Frankie, then how is that healthy for Frankie? Like, Frankie needs to be in the best environment mentally and like physically. And I'm with Ty. Stop giving your brother joints, like giving your brother's weed and liquor. Cause there's no reason why your brother should be throwing up and coming back home with bruises, almost about to pass out and go meet Jesus. Like, you can take your brother to go play basketball, go walk on the beach. There's so many other things that Peter could be doing, but he's in this whole woe is me kind of act. And it's like, I'm not buying it, bro. You almost 30. Get over it. Like, get over it and do more for your family, because clearly your mom needs therapy. But somehow they were able to, like, come to an understanding, and they hugged, and they were all happy. And I was like, y'all not going to therapy. Even though you need to go to therapy, y'all need counseling as a unit. But I guess that's not going to happen. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic. And drop down in them comments below and let me know what y'all thoughts. And I'm out. Deuces.